So, what do you think a bisector is?
In the middle.
Say that
Where
separates
the two
it.
things from me.
Okay, so there's two kinds of bisectors that we're talking about today. There's a segment bisector and there's a angle bisector. Okay? A segment bisector goes through the middle of a segment. So if this is segment AB, that's the midpoint. A bisector would be a line that goes through the midpoint. Okay? And it cuts it in half. So if this is 5, what would this side be? 5. What would the whole thing be?
10.
10. All right. There's also an angle bisector. An angle bisector goes through the middle of an angle. If this is 30, what would be the bottom?
30.
30. And what would be the whole thing? 60. Okay? Any questions about what a midpoint or segment bisector or angle bisector looks like? Okay? So let's look at some problems that relate to it. Okay? So here is an angle. And here is the bisector. Alright, so instead of them just being obvious and putting the angles in and everything, they're going to give it to you with lots of letters. Alright, ABD is that angle there at the top,
28.
and it tells me it's 28. Okay? Then it says DBC. Well, DBC starts at D, goes to B, and goes to C, and it's the angle in the middle. Okay? So it would be this one right here, and that's what we're looking for. Like, we know that the top one's 28. So what's the bottom one? 28. All right. ABC. ABC is talking about the whole entire angle. So it would be both 28s. And so what do you get?
56.
All right. Any questions? Okay. So I'm going to erase this. I'm going to use the same picture. I'm going to give you different information. I'm going to let angle ABC equal 110 and angle ABD equals what?
7.
When you just divide it by 2,
Yeah, because ABC is the whole angle.
I'm just kidding.
And I just need the ABD part, which is the part above it. So I'm going to divide by 2, and you get what?
55.
Any questions on that?
Wait, hold on.
ABD is the whole thing. And ABC is just that.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
Okay. Okay, this time I'm going to have a new picture. Just so I can give you some different letters.
We can draw this one too.
Okay, so it tells me that IJL is 7x. So IJL is 7x. That's the top angle, right? Okay, then it says LJK is 10x minus 15. So this part's 10x minus 15. So this is 7x. This is 10x minus 15. They would equal each other as long as that thing's a bisector, and it is. Okay? So we're going to have 7x equals 10x minus 15. And then we solve it. So then what?
Subtract 10 from both sides.
Subtract 10x on both sides.
And then divide by 8 and 3.
Right, so we get 5. Now, the question might stop with that. It might say just find x. It might say find I, J, K. So tell me, I, J, K, which angle is that talking about?
The whole thing.
The whole thing. So if I find half of it, then I'm going to multiply by 2. So, good. I'm going to plug in 5 into one of those. It doesn't matter which one because I should get the same thing. Plug it into whichever one's easier. I plug it into that top one. So I get 7 times 5, which is 35. And then both angles are 35, so multiply by 2. So the whole angle would be 70. Okay, FEG is the top angle, right? FEH is the whole angle. So I'm going to have to multiply one of those by 2 to get the other one, right? So I'm going to have to do 2 times top one. Good. So I'm going to do 2 times 3x plus 1 equals 5x plus 19. And so I get 6x plus 2 equals 5x plus 19. Alright? Alright, subtract everything over, subtract the 5x, subtract the 2. Good so far?
Oh, I did that completely wrong.
It's asking me to find GEH, which is that bottom angle. I don't know the bottom angle, but I know the top angle, FEG. It's supposed to be the same, right? So FEG, I'm going to plug 17 into that. 3 times 17 plus 1. And I get 52. And so 52 is what I'm looking for. Because both of those angles are the same. Okay, so one other problem I want to show you. Maybe it would say something like there's a segment AC, midpoint at B. So it won't draw the picture for you necessarily, so I would suggest you draw a picture first. So segment AC means we have this little segment here where A and C is the first and the last. And it says there's a midpoint at B, so there's B right there in the middle. What that means is that this side is equal to this side. And B is not a bisector because it's not a line. But if a line went through B, it would be a bisector. But you do these problems the same way you do those angle problems. Okay? If they told me that AB was 5x and AC was 2x minus 10. Actually, I'm going to change that to 12. 2x minus 12. And if they want to know what BC is, we're going to do it the same way. When they give me the 5x is that first part of the segment. The 2x minus 12 is the whole segment.
So would you multiply 5x by 2?
So multiply 5x by 2 and you get 10x. And then set it equal to 2x minus 12. I made up a bad problem. Let's put a plus 12 there on the end. Sorry. Okay, subtract 2x so you get 8x. Divide by 8. And it's going to be a fraction. But x isn't what it's asking me for. It's asking me for BC. So how am I going to find that?
Plug it in.
Plug it into what?
5.
So figure out what AB is and then double it. So AB is 5 times x. So AB is 5 times 3 halves.
7.5.
15 halves are 7.5, and actually you don't double it because BC is just the second part of it. It's not the whole thing. If it said find AC, then we would double it. Okay? Any questions?